Hello, Connect Africa. My name is Kwame Gonza. Guys, did you know that the Senegalese government has launched a commission to renegotiate the oil and gas contracts that were signed by the previous government of President Macky Sall? And to give you a background, this is one of the promises that were made by the Senegalese government, the government of Diomaye Faye and Ousmane Sonko, who is the current prime minister. So recently, the prime minister has launched a commission to look at these contracts and then see how they can renegotiate from them and to benefit the country, of course. And of course, this I'm bringing you this news because it came out previously a few days ago. It appeared on africanews.com. You can check it out on africanews.com. Senegal sets up a commission to review oil and gas contracts. Now, this is very significant in our time. Why? Because it was a promise, like I said, which was given by this current government. Number two, this government is of young people and they represent the new generation of Africans. So this new generation of Africans has to take a stand. And we have had a lot of young people on the African continent saying that they are ready to govern. Now, this is a test for this new generation to see if they will be able to govern. So if they fail, then it is going to be the next generation again which is failing, because at least they have gotten a chance to take over power. And it will be an embarrassment to the rest of the African continent, which is, of course, unwanted. Now, let us look at what the article is saying. They are saying that the Senegalese Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko, officially set up on Monday, August 19th, a commission, and he tasked it with reviewing the oil and gas contracts the country signed with multinational corporations. And of course, we will talk about also these multinational corporations, but we will not stop there. We will also compare with what happened in Ghana, Nigeria, and Uganda. We have chosen out these three countries basically. Number one, they are in all of them, they are in the sub-Saharan Africa, and also some of them have already started producing oil, some of them started recently, and some of them have just started. They have not even started, pumping out their oil, even though they discovered oil, long time ago. Now, the Prime Minister made the announcement on national television and insisted that a team of legal, tax and energy sector experts will work meticulously. Listen to the word they are saying. They are using these words carefully. They are saying that they work meticulously. This means that they work with detail and carefully, okay, to make sure that all legal aspects are carefully examined. And of course, we know that the multinational oil companies, they don't like this. They don't like this. Definitely, they don't like this. Now, Sonko brushed off rumors. Now, of course, the first thing which these multinational companies, of course, come with is the claim that, you are trying to be a dictator, you are trying to be, you are trying to nationalize the resources of the country. And of course, in itself, it is not bad, but there is a stigma which is now attached to the nationalization of resources. And basically, what nationalization means is the ownership of these resources by the African people themselves, giving these resources to the African people. But now there is a stigma attached to this ownership, whereby they demonize the ownership. And Sonko brushed off rumors of nationalization, reiterating his government's ambition to rebalance the energy contracts in the national interest. Some people, of course, came out to accuse, the Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko, that he wants to nationalize the resources. In itself, we have also to start pushing back. But of course, they immediately came with accusation. Why? Because they are talking about the unfair contracts which were signed by the previous government of President Macky Sall, and of course the other president who came before Macky Sall, if possible. Now, this move comes after Senegal became an oil producer. Okay, Australia's Woodside Energy announced in June that its Sangamo oil and gas field had produced its first oil. Okay, so gas production from the GTA project should also kick off this year. Okay, it remains to be seen that the commission is, it remains to be seen what the commission's recommendations will be, and in the event of negotiations, if the expected changes can be implemented. So what the Prime Minister said, who's Usman Sonko, of course, he used the word even rebalance. Some of the media platforms called it rebalance. He wants to make sure that the country benefits from the resources, okay, so that we don't have the so-called oil curse. The narrative of an oil curse itself is you know, it has to be rechecked itself, because there's no such thing as an oil curse. There's exploitation, if you want to say it, you know, how it is supposed to be. There's actually exploitation by imperialism. Now, they transfer imperialism and call it oil curse. It is not really an oil curse, but it is rather imperialism, which is stealing the people's resources. Now, when we go to Ghana, which we said, of course, we'll talk about Nigeria, we know the mistakes which Nigeria has done. And is it possible that these young people, Usman Sonko and Diomaye Faye, the president of Senegal, are learning from what happened in, you know, in Nigeria? Nigeria started producing oil way back, and the first contracts, of course, were signed in 1955. You know, Ghana, you know, discovered its oil and started producing, but we don't see the benefits. Ghana itself, one of the Ghanaian economists came out to estimate how much Ghana has benefited from its oil. Ever since it started pumping out oil, he estimated that about $30 billion has been pumped from Ghana's oil, but Ghana has taken only $6.5 billion, which is about 20% of the money, which is ridiculous, considering that we own these resources. The multinational companies should not be coming to our countries to own resources, regardless of how much they have invested, including technology, whether they have brought technology. The end is that the resources belong to us at the end of the day, okay? The resources belong to us, so we should not allow these unfair contracts to come into our countries. Nigeria, of course, we've spoken about it. We know the problems which are that they mortgaged off the country's resources. The elites mortgaged off the country's resources, and that is why the people are suffering. Nigeria has pumped out up $2 trillion of oil from the country. And if you say that Nigeria was to benefit from these resources, at least it should benefit by 50% and get about $1 trillion from these resources. But Nigeria has not been able to benefit from this kind of arrangement. Now, when we talk about Ghana, we have the same situation. When we go to Uganda now, it is different. It is different. The president there tried to rein into these multinationals. They discovered oil way back in 2006. They discovered oil in 2006, which is 2006. Now, in Uganda, it was different, that the president decided to develop the capacity first and to help him, you know, to negotiate these contracts, because he did not have the expertise. Actually, there's a story which goes around and says that the president in this country, in Uganda, said to Shell that they should come when he has developed the capacity, because Shell wanted to immediately negotiate for contracts when the president did not have the expertise. So he told them that they should come later when he has developed expertise. They should wait a little bit. And he looked around the world, even within the country, and even across the African continent, to see if there's some Ugandans who will help him to negotiate these contracts. So he built the capacity when he did not have the people, built some institutions which would teach about oil and gas, and then they sent some students to go out there to England and Norway to study about oil and gas. Later on, he built that capacity and he called the Shell. Shell did not want to negotiate. They said that they don't want to negotiate anymore. So it shows you that they want to exploit, and they want to use your ignorance to exploit you, and that is what happens. So Shell did not even play a part in, you know, and even up to now is not playing a part in the Ugandan oil and gas industry. And of course, it is what it is. But of course, we see that the country has made some progress, and some people are saying that the contracts which Uganda signed with the oil and gas companies in the country are some of the best in the world. Okay, so there's no such thing as oil, you know, oil curse or resource curse, natural resource curse. Okay, but what we have can only be said to be neo-colonial exploitation, imperialist exploitation, capitalist exploitation. So we should reject that narrative that this is a resource curse and that is a resource curse when the West is taking our resources. They call it a resource curse. They want to insult us, the owners of the resources. And of course, a blame is to be taken by the ruling class, who is bought out, to look, for its own interests instead of looking for the interests of these particular countries. But again, what is the common pattern which we see in all these countries? We see a common pattern here with the multinational companies, which are the companies which are playing, in Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, and Uganda. We see Total Energy is playing in there. We see Shell. We see all these multinationals, Chevron, and Exxon Mobil. All of them, they are monopolies, and we have to take care. That is why people like Nkrumah say that we should unify as Africans in order for us to be able to fight against these corporations, in order for us to be able to negotiate against these corporations, because they are huge, they are humongous, they are big, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of capital. They have, some of them are worth $200 billion, some of them are worth $300 billion. So you can see that a small country like Senegal, it cannot, it doesn't have the muscle to negotiate with these countries or with these corporations if it doesn't push back, or if it doesn't have enough muscle like that one of the African continent. But what do you think? What do you think about the fact that Senegal is trying to renegotiate its contracts? Do you think this is the right direction? Do you think that Senegal will get it right this time? Do you think that this generation of leaders will not shame us as the next generation of leaders on the African continent? And do you believe that they will do the right thing so that they will redeem the image of the youth who have been saying that they want to take over the leadership of the continent from the old people and the old generation on the African continent? What do you think? Please put that in the comment section and we'll continue our discussion from there. My name is Kwame Gonza and the platform is called Connect Africa and Africa Reimagined. Please support the channel. Give us some thumbs up and share it with others. But more so also, please support us in our PayPal account and support us also with some super chats so that we can continue to be here on the platform. Thank you so much and God bless you all.